So for my mini lesson, I did choose the small short story of A Rose for Emily by William Faulkner. So let's get started. The setting takes place from 1861 to 1933 approximately. So as we know, the Industrial Revolution has taken place. People are slowly adjusting, and they're getting everything and their ideas transitioned. But more importantly, we have the Civil War. History does actually take a big part in this story just because of the effects it has. Basically, Miss Emily Grierson, she is not transitioning very well to the modernized aristocracy that people are trying to instill in her. If anything, she's not budging at all, and she actually represents the Old South. So before the students read this, I will be giving out a handout, and these handouts will consist of about 3 to 4 quotes of the story. And an example would be, alive, Miss Emily had been a tradition, a duty and a care, a sort of hereditary obligation upon the town. Another one is a note on paper of an archaic shape in a thin flowing calligraphy in faded ink, to the effect that she will no longer went out at all. The text notice was enclosed without comment. Basically, from her handwriting and the way she carries herself with herself and with the townspeople and how she deals with them, she's evidently living in the past, and she's not ready to move on. If anything, it's kind of the antithesis of what is going on there. So another thing to keep in mind is the visions of America. Again, history does play a big role in this, because they're trying to convert or transition, progress into this new ideal form of living with these new beliefs, this new culture. People are being meshed together. One of the quotes that will be under that, in that handout, and the only sign of life about the place was a Negro man, a young man then, going in and out with a market basket. It's kind of like hesitation. A Negro man, a man nonetheless. They're slowly converting. He's trying. The person who's saying this, yes, they had this old belief, but slowly they're trying, which is completely opposite from what Miss Emily Grierson is doing. Also, only Miss Emily's house is left, living its stubborn and coquettish decay above the cotton wagons and the gasoline pumps, an eyesore among eyesores. Basically, the narrator is kind of biased against the fact that Miss Emily is not willing to change her lifestyle, her way of being. So also, along with the quotes, we're going to go over some terminology, which would be theme, central topic, text treats to, it's more geared to. This is basically Old South versus the New South, and how there's really some dissonance in the two. And symbolism, use of symbols to represent ideas or qualities. And so, moving on. As the students read the story, they're going to be asked to create a timeline of the story. So, usually some stories, they won't really say a year and a year. They'll kind of just keep going on a tangent. Faulkner, he does the reader a great favor of, he puts the years, and he'll say a summer of 1920, a December of 1931, something like that. So I would like the students to create a timeline. It can be on their little notebook, or it can be on anything. And with that, every time Faulkner writes a year, I want them to write down the event. And while they're doing so, I want them to think of what has happened in history. If not, of course, they can completely research it. We can take little breaks they're going to be keeping that in mind. Also, they're also going to be thinking, how does a timeline affect the theme? Which is really the same question reversed or rephrased, but maybe they'll be able to elaborate on it a little bit more. This is just trying to emphasize that they should really keep in mind that the history and the beliefs, they play a big role. So post-reading, after we read, what's going to happen? There's going to be a little group quiz. At first, I would like for it to be, everyone on their own. Everyone works on it individually. It's going to be a little quiz on the symbols, the themes that Faulkner uses, and give them or a quote or two, and they would be expected to expand and elaborate why that quote is important to the story. After this quiz, they will get together with their groups, their group partners of 3 to 4, and they'll have a great discussion over it. And they'll be able to share ideas. What do they think? What are their thoughts? Do they have any further questions that maybe they would want to ask me, so I can elaborate on that? After that, we can have a great group discussion or class discussion. And if they have any questions, of course, I'm all ears and I'm ready to answer the questions. So that is my idea for my mini lesson. Thank you.